The interesting thing to me there was something that happened yesterday, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Naz Reid signs a 3-year deal, $42 million. Now, I know that the Timberwolves have talked about, Reid, Gobert, Towns being able to all play together, fit together. But that's a good deal for a player who I guess would be your backup center, kid from also Roselle Catholic, local kids. Are very happy for him. But I just wonder how that fits into the Timberwolves' plans, big picture. You got Gobert, you got Towns. Obviously, you have Anthony Edwards, who's going to be making a lot of money sometime soon. You have McDaniels, who you're going to extend a lot of money. Obviously, teams don't want to get past certain thresholds with this new CBA. So I just wonder where that goes this offseason and maybe into the future. But, Shaun, you look at the roster, running it back to me makes a lot of sense, too. Do you see Karl Towns, depending on what the Knicks give up, as a good fit, the player to take this team to the next level?
So I want to separate my statement from Karl Towns, the person, and I'm only speaking on Karl Towns, the player, and this will blow up on me if he ends up being a Knick. But when I talk about guys who you end up having to pay $60 million, I think he might be like close to the poster boy of people that I don't want. He struggles to stay healthy. He doesn't win. He doesn't defend like he's capable of defending. Like, I think that Karl Towns does a lot of the things that we get upset with players about. And then when you think about, either you're trading Julius, which you probably don't do, you trade Mitch, you lose the defense. It would space the floor, which is great, but it's just 4 years from now, could paying Karl Towns $60 million blow up in our faces? And as I'm 28, and so like Frank was saying, the Knicks finally are winning. We've two playoffs to the last 3 years. For the majority of my life, we've been bloated on contracts, devoid of assets, and not winning any basketball games. And so I think maybe it's the PTSD, but keep people away from me who fit the bill of the things that we've done my entire life that hurt us.
Yeah, what a coincidence. I just turned 29, so I didn't realize I'm only a year older than Shaun. You know what? He hit on something, though, with Karl-Anthony Towns, and I do agree with that. I do think, he's obviously a talented player, but durability has been an issue. I don't think you're winning with him as your best player, maybe not even your second best player. You may have to be the third best player on your team. I will say this. They had a game this year where they played the Golden State Warriors, and you could tell he was into it. It was the Warriors. It was a nationally televised game. He looked like Larry Bird out there. The guy was like coming off screens, catch and shoot. He was like, hitting pull-up shots like Dirk Nowitzki with his knee in there. I remember watching that thinking, why can't he do this more often than not? He clearly has the ability. Remember, he had the quote last week, which a lot of people mocked him for when he said, I want to be remembered as a guy that changed the game. Well, winning the 3-point contest as a 7-footer, you're not necessarily changing the game. And game changers are guys that get it done in the playoffs and win championships. You just wonder if he gets to, that age where he's around 28, 29, and 30, he's made all the money he's ever going to need to make. He's made all-star teams before. Maybe he realizes that, because listen, in Minnesota, you mentioned it, Anthony Edwards is the guy. It's really going to be his team, and Naz Reid is off the charts good. The guy's like high energy, got a big-time motor. I just think that Karl-Anthony Towns I think he'd actually fit in with a team like the Knicks if he realized, yes, I'm a part of it. The whole organization now is not going to drop on their knees and, hey, Karl, it's all about you and what you need. I think a lot of times for these young players, when they go to their first team, that's kind of the environment that is around them. And sometimes maybe they need an organization and a team which is going to say, no, it's equal parts here. You have to work just as hard. And maybe that could happen in New York. But I understand what Shaun's saying. That's a fair argument. The money that you're going to be throwing around and thus far the production you've been getting the last couple of years.